Hey everybody, Sean Hatzel here with Get Lean in 12 and going live real quickly. I wanted to share 3 simple rules that you must follow in order to lose stubborn belly fat if you're over 40 years old. Now, for those of you who don't know who I am or you're not familiar with me, I'm actually a 3-time best-selling online nutrition author. I'm a grandpa to 3 beautiful grandkids, and I'm a stubborn fat expert who specializes in helping people over 40 years old lose stubborn belly fat. In the last 5 years, I've helped over 100,000 people. Now, before I reveal these 3 simple rules, I want to talk about how I discovered this. The first thing is when I was in my 20s, regular exercise and interval training landed me a first place runner-up grand champion finishing in the world's largest body transformation contest with over 20,000 finishers called Body for Life. So being 28 years old, my hormonal condition was a lot different. So I was able to take my body fat from about 20% to below 6%, lose almost 20 pounds of belly fat, gain 5 pounds of muscle in 90 days, and I was only exercising about 4 to 5 hours a week. Well, from that day forward, I was pretty much convinced that the key to losing stubborn fat outside of diet was to use interval training in conjunction with weight training. But after I turned 35 years old and I met my wife, Karen, who is 11 years older than me, I actually discovered I was kind of dead wrong. So although interval training can be very effective for people in their 20s and 30s, after privately working with thousands of people and hundreds of private clients at our studio that we used to own in Ann Arbor, I discovered that too much interval training can actually give you adrenal fatigue, and this releases too much cortisol, which is your belly fat hormone. So I finally went on a rampage doing some research, and this was right after my wife was diagnosed with colorectal cancer, and she was forced into early menopause. So when she was done with her treatments, her metabolism was pretty much destroyed, and she couldn't lose stubborn belly fat. So I started doing some research and actually stumbled across a way that's based on scientific studies that people over 35 years old can burn stubborn belly fat. And the first rule that you must follow is you need to flatline your body's #1 storage hormone, insulin. So if you enter an exercise session with elevated insulin levels, that's very friendly if you want to gain muscle. However, because insulin is your storage hormone, if it's elevated before exercise, you can't access stubborn fat cells that release fat from your fat cells into the bloodstream. It's impossible because insulin levels being elevated stops your body from burning fat. So that's the first thing. There's 3 ways that you can stabilize insulin before you move. The first one is simply to fast. So by waiting at least 3 hours after a meal, allowing insulin to stabilize after the meal, because whenever you eat, even if it's just protein and veggies, you're going to raise insulin levels. So afterwards, you want to wait about 3 hours. Now, you have energy from the food you've eaten, but your stomach is empty enough and your insulin levels are low enough to where your body will be in a fat-burning environment when you enter the workout. The other option is to wake up in the morning on an empty stomach and engage in a short, high-intensity exercise session that I'll share with you in just a second. The third thing that you can do to stabilize insulin levels is if you've eaten before exercise, is to simply take a 5-minute walk. The research shows that by taking a 5-minute walk on the treadmill or a 5-minute walk outside before you move or exercise, you can stabilize insulin and keep your body in a fat-burning environment. So that's rule number 1. Rule number 2, believe it or not, is you must exercise less. By avoiding regular exercise and replacing it with simple movement patterns, rest periods, and intensity levels that are designed for the specific hormonal condition of your body when you're over 35 years old, you can actually reawaken your youth hormones, opening up the gateway for your body to release trapped fat from your fat cells in as little as 20 to 30 seconds if you know what you're doing. That's step number 2. Step number 3, and this is the most crucial step, is you must stop what we call fat defense. See, after you turn 35 years old, because of your current hormonal condition, when you're done exercising, your body can actually take the stubborn fat from the fat cells that is released into the bloodstream. These are converted to free fatty acids, and these free fatty acids float around in your bloodstream. Well, when you're done exercising, your body will actually restore that stubborn fat into another area of your body. This happens especially if you're trying to get leaner because your body is fighting back. It's a survival mechanism. So your body is super smart. It wants to adapt and it wants to survive. So it wants to restore those stubborn fat cells. So you must prevent or stop what we call fat defense. And the scientific word for this in the health and fitness community is called re-esterification. So if just one of these three simple rules is broken, it could be impossible for you to lose belly fat. So what I've done is somewhere around this video, I put a link that's going to give you access to a 12-minute metabolic trick that you can use to apply all three of these rules. And it's specifically designed for people over 35. So if you're in your 40s, 50s, or 60s, understand you must move differently than younger people because of your current hormonal condition. So you also see the real life inspiring story of my wife and how this 12-minute secret led to her overcoming menopause and getting rid of her belly fat. And you'll also see how I've used this strategy in conjunction with a clean diet to maintain under 10% body fat since 1998. You'll see real life photo shoot proof, and I'll also post it below this video because I know once this gets a lot of exposure in the feed, and people are going to be questioning, hey, what do you look like? So I'll post that below here along with the link to this 12-minute metabolic trick. So thanks for taking time out of your busy day to check this out. If you got something out of it, make sure you like it, make sure you share it, and keep going strong.